What's going on? Thanks so much for clicking the video. Today I'm going to be bringing you the life story of the first time I ever smoked weed. Today's 4:20 on the dot, so I figured it'd be a perfect time to record this video. I'm probably not going to be able to upload it until tomorrow, but whatever. But basically it happened when I was 14 years old, which is kind of a while ago, but it's really funny to think about. I'm 20 years old now for reference. I put a Fortnite gameplay in the background of this video. I ended up getting second place, and I thought I played alright, but I'm not good at Fortnite at all, but I just figured I'd upload that. Anyway, to the story. So I was a freshman in high school. I was just starting out, and I went into high school with the mindset that I wasn't going to smoke, I wasn't going to drink before I was legally allowed to, and I was just going to follow the rules. And obviously it didn't turn out that way for me at all, but I still want to recommend to every young person out there that, they should stay away from drugs, especially when they're in high school, and just stay on that good path, because that's going to be the best path for success. Anyway, enough of the bullshit. Gonna get into it. So yeah, as the school year progressed, my freshman year, I basically just kind of got in this curiosity mindset where I just was really genuinely curious about what it was like to be high. And I don't know how it happened or when it happened, but it was sometime during my freshman year. I just started getting really curious. I think it was because my friends were all talking about it, and like they all smoked, and like it's not even like it's kind of an association thing, but it's more like I was genuinely curious because I just couldn't relate to anything they were saying when they were like talking about being high or whatever. And so I remember I was sitting with my one friend, and we would always get lunch together after we would like have gym class or something. We had a little cafeteria, so it was a good opportunity to like sit down and talk or whatever. And I expressed to him my interest in trying weed, and his eyes like lit up immediately, and he's like, all right, man, like I got you, don't even worry, meet me outside of door A tomorrow right after school. And we had like different doors in our school or whatever, so I said, okay, like I'll meet you there, not knowing like how much he was gonna bring me. He didn't tell me a price or anything, and sure enough, I go to sleep, go to school the next day. I'm waiting at this door A for this guy, and he's like, sure enough, he comes, and he's like, all right, like follow me. And I followed him into the bathroom. He goes in one of the stalls. He's like, this is some fire. He told me this is some fire. And I didn't even know what that meant at the time. I was 14 years old, so I thought that was like the name of the weed. So whenever someone asked me like what the weed was called or like what strain I had, I would just be like, it's fire. But like I didn't even know what that meant at all. But he gave me like, probably, it was, looking back on it, it was probably like 0.5 or 0.6, but I gave him a crisp $20 bill for that. Kind of makes me cringe thinking about it now. But anyway, gave him a $20 bill for like probably 0.5 or something. He hands it to me. I put it in like my secure like case that I was sure to bring the day before. Like it was like a glasses case, but then I had like a Ziploc bag over it. Like I was like tweaking about it, so I wanted to be sure, like, I don't get caught with this when I'm in school or whatever. And so I do all that. I go to my friend's house immediately after school, and I say, guess what? You'll never guess what I have. And he's like, what are you talking about? I said, I picked up a gram of some fire from this kid. And they're all like, no way, no way. So we call up a couple of my other friends. We're gonna have like a sesh. And so it's me, my like three friends. Let's call them John, Jill, and Ryan, I guess. John, Jill, and Ryan. Jill is a girl's name, but let's just rock with it. They all showed up. We were all together. We were all excited. We're like, oh yeah, like we're gonna smoke this weed. We're gonna like do it. Like, and I was kind of nervous. I was like, shit, like I've never done this before. These guys have all kind of done it before. And then we kind of realized, like, how are we gonna smoke it? Like, we had no way of smoking it. Well, my homie who was hosting us, he had like papers. He had like these cigarette papers. They weren't even like joint papers. They were for pre-rolled cigarettes. I think they were his dad's, but he took one of those, and my friend's older brother's friend ended up like rolling us like some skimpy ass joint. I remember looking back on it. It was the most poorly rolled joint I've ever seen. I think there was a hole in it too, but this was like a skimpy .5 rolled up joint. Looked like shit, but we were happy with it. It was going to be uh, the perfect way to get high, I guess. And so we all took the joint. We walked to this construction site not too far from his house. We called it the spot, and it's basically like this transition from one neighborhood to another, like what's it called, like cul-de-sac. So we all called this like transition area because it was heavily wooded and it was right next to a construction site. We called it the spot, and so we are like, we got to smoke at the spot. So we all, biked there. However, we got there when we were 14. We all get there, and it was like starting to rain. It was starting to come down, and we're thinking like, oh shit, like how are we even gonna get this thing lit? Because it was really starting to pour. And so I get to this construction site. We're at the spot. We're all ready to go. We're huddled in a circle. And I can't remember to this day who was the first one to light it. I think it was my friend Ryan, but he basically lit it up. And I don't know what happened, but for some reason, it like started to like burst into flames. Like the edge of the joint like caught up, and it just like had like a huge sudden like quick ball of fire, but then it was lit. I think it was like just such a loose rolled joint that there was so much paper that it just kind of like caught up in flames. So it ended up being like, we all probably, like, if I had to put a number on it, we all probably took like one hit. We all probably like smoked like .1 of this shit, like barely anything. And so my friend Ryan hits it. He passes it. There's like a little hole in this thing too, mind you. And then finally it gets to me. And I'm the last one in the rotation. I don't know why it was like my weed, but I was the last one in the rotation. I don't think we knew about like joint rolling or joint smoking etiquette back in the day, but it was my turn to hit it. And I smacked it as hard as I could. I inhaled. I held it. I could like taste it. It was like my first taste of weed ever. And I don't know what caused me, but for some reason I dropped the joint. I dropped it into a puddle of water, and I just heard it go tss, like totally out. But we had all gotten one hit, and they're all like, "Oh, bro, like come on, like what were you thinking? What were you doing? You dropped the joint." And it was like totally not salvageable at all. It landed in a puddle, and we all got to hit it once. And I remember thinking like I don't feel anything. I don't know what the hell everyone's talking about. I don't know what the hype is. I don't know what everyone's talking about, because I don't feel anything. And so we left the spot. We just started walking back to my friend's house, but we took the long way. We just wanted to kind of walk for a little bit and see I guess what happened, or I don't know. We were stupid kids, but we walked the long way. And I remember like something happened where someone brought up, like right as we started walking, where they were like, "Oh, like I can't believe you dropped that joint in the puddle." And I just started like laughing. Like I giggled kind of like I literally dropped the joint. Like at the time I was like, "Oh my god." But then I just started laughing a little bit. And one of my other friends, he just kind of was like laughing with me, and we're kind of giggling together about it, like like, I can't believe this kid did this. And then like sure enough, 3 friends are laughing, and then we're all just dying laughing, like thinking about how I dropped the joint. I don't even think that's what we ended up laughing about. We were just laughing about nothing, but we were like cheesing hard about it. And then we just kept walking, and we realized we were walking the completely wrong direction to get back to his house because we were laughing so hard. I guess we just had taken a wrong turn, and we were lost. We were walking in the wrong immediate area, and I just remember everything just felt so enhanced, and it was dark and rainy. And it was actually the same night that I first got my contacts. I had never had contacts before, so it was like such a weird sensation to like see everything so clearly without glasses, if that makes sense. I had glasses for a while before that, and it was like my first time smoking, my first time wearing contacts, and so it was like just a lot of weird sensations all at once. But yeah, we finally made it back to the house, and I just remember like, eating food and just being like, holy shit, like this is the best food I've ever had. Like everything was just so enhanced. I had like a genuine like high. Like even though I smacked like half of a joint hit, barely smoked anything, like I was baked. And we chilled for like a couple more hours. My dad came to pick me up, and my friend Ryan asked for a ride home, and I said, yeah, like sure, no problem. Well, my dad comes to pick me up, and I was still definitely out of it. I was still definitely a little baked, and I get in the car with my dad, and my friend Ryan was way more experienced than me. He kind of knew how to like act, I guess you could say, like how to talk to people when he was like so fucked up. And I was not good at it. I was not good at hiding anything at all. So I get in the car with my dad, and my dad, the first thing he says to us when we get in the car is, "How was your night?" or something like that. And I didn't respond. I don't know why, but I was so out of it, just staring out of the window, like looking at the trees, that I didn't reply back to my dad at all. And so my friend Ryan, it was just like an awkward pause. "How was your night?" It was an awkward pause while we're driving the car. My friend Ryan just like cuts in the back, and he's like, "Oh, it was really good. Like thanks, Mister," and Mister whatever my last name is. And yeah, man, that was definitely really cringe, but it ended up being all right. He dropped my friend off. I went home. I passed out probably for like 12 hours after that, but that was my first time ever smoking weed. I hope you guys liked this story. If you did, please be sure to subscribe. I got plenty more stories where that came from. And yeah, guys, thanks so much. Peace.